I'm going to share today a really exciting way to think about growing and marketing your business. And we'll do that by first talking about the typical customer life cycle. So we all spend time and energy and money generating interest in our company. We might do that online or through word of mouth or through some type of offline advertising. But we do all of that in an effort to get people to engage in our sales process. We all have a different sales process. Again, we may sell online, we may have a sales team, we may sell through estimates, things like that. And the goal in all of these cases is that we create a paying customer, that we win the deal. So let's take a quick example of how this plays out. So let's say that I spend $1,000 and about 10 hours of time generating interest, which creates 100 interested prospects for me that end up turning into 10 paying customers, okay? Great. Now let's say I want to take that 10 customers, I want to turn that into 20. So what do? What are my options? Well, with the typical customer life cycle, I can double the amount of dollars I'm spending on my advertising and marketing, or I can double the time. Maybe I'll spend more time in Craigslist or in social media in an effort to create more leads that can turn into more customers. Or I might work on my sales process a little bit. But there is a new breed of entrepreneurs and business owners that understand that there's a different way to grow a company today. And the typical customer life cycle is not ideal. And the reason is really it comes down to the fact that there are just holes in this here bucket. So I want to talk about 3 very specific holes, and then we'll talk about how we can maybe take things to the next level. So the very first thing I want to talk about, the first hole, is in website traffic. I want you to ask yourself, how many of the visitors who came to your website this morning were not ready to engage in your sales process? Probably a really, really high percentage. Unfortunately, when we don't capture those leads and give them a reason to engage with us, we lose them. They're lost forever. And they essentially bounce off of our website, and this is the first big hole that I want to talk about, is lost traffic. Okay, and where does that traffic go? Well, it essentially goes into the big internet rubbish bin, and it's gone forever. So lost traffic. Never to come back again. So now let's say for those that are interested enough to engage in our sales process, though, what happens with them? Well, we all know that in our marketing, we generate a certain number of hot leads, right? That's where we kind of get our livelihood from, is by converting those hot leads. But there's a whole bunch of other leads that may not be hot and ready to buy today, and unfortunately, they get labeled as bad leads. Well, they're not all bad leads. Some of them are. Some of them we don't really care that they ever come back. But many of them just may not be ready to buy today. And so it's unfortunate that happens. Did you know that statistically speaking, it takes 7 contacts with a company before a consumer feels comfortable enough to do business with us? Now here's the problem. We stop following up typically right here. So we get them part of the way going and then we stop. And we don't finish the nurturing that's needed for these leads because we're labeling them as bad and kind of throwing them out. I once talked to a business owner that was in the mortgage business, and he went to the trash can and found literally 350 leads that were fully qualified. Somebody thought they were bad and threw them out in the trash. So you may not have literal leads being thrown in the trash, but there is waste happening in your business, and that's our second big bucket that I want us to attack today. So this is lost leads. Just hemorrhaging out of so many businesses, it's discouraging. Okay, now let's talk about another very common thing that happens. We close the sale, and unfortunately this feels like we've reached the finish line. And so what ends up happening is all of our energy and focus comes right back here, and we're wanting to drive more into the top of the funnel, right? Well, this is a tragedy, and this is the third hole I want to talk about, which is lost customers. Now, in some cases, we actually lose customers. They leave our business. By the way, did you know that 65% of consumers that leave a business to go to another vendor do so not because we jacked them up or we had a bad product or bad service. They leave because of indifference. Isn't that unfortunate that we'd have a customer that we spend all this money attracting and closing, and then they leave because we just didn't do a good enough job to really wow that customer? And it's unfortunate. So you may have customers that you actually lose, but even if you're not losing customers because of these things, you're also we're not good enough at upselling customers. We're losing our upsells, and we're not good enough at getting referrals. It is so much cheaper to sell to an existing customer than it is to go back and try to find a brand new prospect, teach them about your company, convert them, and get more money out of them. But yet we're not able to do that very well today. Okay, so again, as I said, this is not the ideal way to work, and we've spent a lot of time working on a different model for thinking about your business marketing. So I'm going to erase all this stuff that we've been talking about here. I'm going to leave I'm going to leave these trash cans up as a reminder, because we're going to attack each one of these right now.